The next presentation will be 20 minutes, maybe I'll allow 25, on modernizing and advancing the real estate industry through technology. It will be presented by Abdulhakeem Sadiq, founder, CEO, Zama. Round of applause as he takes the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adulhakeem Sadiq Adamu. I am the founder of the new market entrant into the Nigerian real estate space known as Zama. I initially started my career with a very reputable firm called JLL in Dubai, where I started as a research analyst and grew to the role of strategic advisor in Stratcon, and then I relocated to Nigeria as portfolio manager in JLL. So I recently left JLL after getting all the training and all the exposure into the market and exposure to what technology can do to the real estate space, and decided to create a product known as Zama to introduce a new way of thinking in the Nigerian real estate market space. So my presentation today is really trying to expose to the Generation Z, as you call them, how real estate can be used to actually recalibrate the Nigerian real estate market space. And one thing that I can easily say to you is that recently there was a research conducted by a firm called Savills, which is a real estate firm that actually researched the value of international property and put it at exactly $217 trillion. 80% of that goes into housing. And if you look into those kind of statistics, it bugs you to understand that why is it that up till date, no amount of real estate tech has actually keyed into the market. However, this is actually starting to change in developed markets and even in developing markets, and I'm about to show you how that can change the game for us. So basically, it's all known that technology is something that is fast changing the way we think, the way we process, and the way we even transact in the market. Now, with real estate, because of its cumbersomeness, a lot of people are very wary of technology being put into such a capital-intensive business. However, that is actually starting to change by basic technology that we're actually seeing into the market. And typically, to kind of put that into context, you'll understand when you say technology, people are thinking about their mobile phones, communications, transportations, and things like that. However, technology and innovation has been used in many ways in developed markets to actually change the way people operate within the market space. And very soon, as you said, we will reach a space whereby people are able to sell and buy their properties by the click of a button. It may sound frightening, but it is very possible and it is happening. Now, just to put into context what that means, PropTech as the key word that has been flying about, a lot of people don't understand what PropTech is or what it actually means. PropTech is actually just a collective term that is used to define startups that offer services in a way that is very systematic and process-driven that can actually solve unique problems within the real estate space. So anything that can help solve a problem efficiently in a faster way and is innovative can actually be seen as PropTech. An example could easily be seen as Uber. Uber, everybody knows Uber to be a transportation company. However, Uber is actually PropTech. And the reason why is because now you don't longer have to own a car to go to any particular location. All you need to do is go on Uber, book for a ride, and it can take you to one location to another. So the ease of accessing locations has been fast taken by companies like Uber. Now, the internet is another component of PropTech. With the internet, we've actually been able to empower us to become more connected to one another. And we all know a very key component of real estate is that real estate is about relationships. Everything else you see in real estate is really just details. Real estate is all about who you know and how you know them. Your connectivity and access to people is what will empower the kind of real estate portfolio you're willing to build or you're actually even able to build. So the internet has made the world a smaller place, and people use the internet for various means, like marketing their property and actually being able to monitor their properties on the internet. And the internet has actually shifted the means at which property realtors and brokers actually market properties. Now, rather than them putting on signs and things like that, they actually use the internet to push their property to have more visibility to the international market and actually in turn sell their property better and even faster. Now, I'd like you to look at this very interesting graph that I have. There's an estimate of about 153 million daily internet users just in sub-Saharan Africa alone. The graph on the right actually shows you that 64% of that population sits here in Nigeria. 64%. In comparison to other markets like Kenya and Uganda, you can see that the large majority of internet users in our market are here in Nigeria. And then if you look at the graph on the left, you see that the methods that these users use to actually find properties, you will notice that in comparative, you'll see that mobile phones, laptops, and desktops account to about 80% of means that people use to look for property. So clearly, you can see that the internet has been a major factor in which people use to access property. Now, that innovation actually has exposed us to the need to actually develop various means at which brokerage firms can actually start looking for innovative ways to sell their properties to different users in different markets by using mobile technology, desktop applications that actually target their users in an innovative way and a very direct way also. Now, another thing that I want to clearly stipulate is who are the innovative disruptors currently in the market that are actually changing the game. Number one is data and AI. AI means artificial intelligence. Now, with data, with the advent of data and the use of data, there's something that a lot of people don't understand, but it is very, very, very important that is used by a lot of marketing companies, which is known as predictive analysis. It'll shock you to know that all of you in this room have a mobile phone. And I can guarantee you that 80% of you right now have their microphone on. And every conversation you may be having with the person next to you is being listened to by the likes of Facebook, Google, Uber, and even Airbnb. So sometimes, I don't know if you have noticed, there could be times when you're talking about traveling to a new hotel destination or you want to plan a new trip to a particular place, and then suddenly you turn on your mobile phone and go to the internet, and there you go. You see an advert of the exact place or the destinations you're looking for. Now, these are predictive analysis tools that a lot of these tech companies are using to target people and sell their product directly to them. Another good example as to how people use data in these markets, if you look at Uber, here's something that I read about recently. The fact that they're a transport company leads you to understand why they would want to monitor the battery life on your phone. Nobody knows this, but if you do have an Uber application, I don't know if any of us use Uber here, but if you do have Uber on your phone, they actually track and monitor your battery life. Now, why is that important? What's the correlation between your battery life and Uber? Now, Uber realizes that the very moment your battery life starts to reduce, or when it's at, for instance, 20%, they know that there is an urgency for you to book for a ride. And guess what? Right at that time, their prices go up. Simply because they know that you are at a time where you know you can't afford your phone to be off, and so they use that data to price their product. So these are things that are used in these markets, and I feel real estate cannot escape from, and we will have to face all these kind of innovations. Now, electronic documentation is also a very critical component. We all know that real estate is a very capital-intensive business, and it always begins with the start of a document, and then also it ends with a document. Now, being able to have flexible documents where you can review title, sign agreements, and actually engage contracts while you're sitting in the comfort of your bedroom, as opposed to going through cumbersome 300 lease agreements or documentation. Electronic documents now make it easy for people to review contracts and sign engagements at the comfort, at the leisure of their time. Now, this is a very, very important also component to innovation that is being used to change the way real estate operates in our market. There are various applications that you can use to, with this known as DocuSign, that you can actually log into your phone, and it can help you mitigate any challenges and even monitor any edits that may come up in any documents that you have. Now, again, another very interesting one is virtual reality. This is very much used by a lot of developers to basically help users like you actually design and even be able to actually come up with concepts for developments that actually suit your business needs or even your luxury needs. Now, with virtual reality, it exposes the users to basically be able to use tools and guide developers to show them exactly this is the size of the room that I want, these are the kind of furnitures that I'll be able to put in here, and these are the kind of tools that I need in this particular space. This is also tools that is being used also in the commercial space to help manage costs and actually mitigate any kind of safety risks that may come in to developments. And then another one is crowdfunding. This is very peculiar to the funding aspect of real estate. A lot of developers are finding it very difficult to have access to capital. And they have, quite well actually looked for an alternative in crowdfunding. That actually, what crowdfunding does is it provides a pool of funds for developers to tap into and actually create developments, and also it creates an investment opportunities for those people who don't have ready capital for big, heavy projects, and they can actually donate or actually make contributions that form into shares that can be used or exchanged in the property market. And then again, blockchain. We did have a discussion earlier about blockchain and how it can safely be used to actually document and even be used as a means of exchange in property. Because of how safe blockchain is, companies like Deloitte recently wrote a paper guaranteeing that in the next 5 years, you will have no option than to use blockchain to transact your property. Now, having said this, it exposes the fact that real estate has no choice but to bend to innovation. Innovation is coming into the real estate market, and I hope you're ready for it. Uber and transport innovation. Again, I made mention of this. Tools like drones, tools like Uber actually help make the process of going to or even locating property not a major issue. Everybody always talks about the focal point of location, location being the important aspect of real estate, but with the likes of Uber and even drone technology, it makes your location really not relevant. If you want to have a parcel delivered to you in your house somewhere in Oshogbo, with a company like DHL, they have drone technology that all you need to do is by the click of a button, your package is delivered to you and you have no worries regarding transportation. The same thing with the likes of Uber. They're now going into autonomous vehicles that allows people to go from one place to another, not necessarily with a driver. All you need to do is push in the location you want to go to and you safely get there. We may be a little bit behind in Nigeria, but these technologies are coming, and I hope we're ready for these kind of technology. With companies like us, Zama, some of the things that we've actually considered in situations like this is, again, in helping people mitigate the challenge of being able to market their properties or even list their properties. So what we did is we contacted companies like Google to give us access to edit their back-end map to basically be able to showcase properties on the map, so that you will have no issues when you're listing your properties, and you actually even get more exposure by having your property on the map of Google. And imagine walking around or having access to your Google map and seeing your property being for sale or actually for rent in technologies like that. So I would really, really employ that we embrace these kind of innovations and do our best to make sure that these things work very well for us. So thank you very much for your time. And
thank you. A round of applause. And Abdulhakeem, you're actually launching your product today, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, we are. Actually, we are launching at the dinner event at the Sky Restaurant this evening, where we'll be showcasing many of the tools that we're using to actually help mitigate the challenges of the Nigerian real estate space.
Congratulations. And please stay on the stage because you're going to be part of the next panel. I don't know about you guys, but after that presentation, I'm never using Uber again. I'm also never using my phone again, since you can hear all my conversations.